Okay, so I'm going to remove the carburetor that's on the bike. Here's the one that we're going to replace it with. I've put on the elbows on the bench. So you really don't need to take off much except for the airbox. The only issue that's going to come in is if you're not pre-mixing and you're using the actual pump, the two-stroke pump, there it is where it comes in. You will have to make that longer, because as you can see on this carburetor, it's coming in on this side, and that's actually not going to be long enough. So yeah, so that's going to be your only issue here. So to actually get to the pump, you're going to have to remove, you might have to remove the exhaust on the far end. So I'll do that in a few minutes. But initially, all that's holding this carburetor is this Jubilee clip at the back here. And I have a nice long screwdriver. And basically you can come in through the access panel here from the top, open it up. I'll just show you. And it pops out nicely. So open it up all the way, that it goes loose. Okay, that's it. And just twist it a little bit and rock it, and it'll come out. That's it. It's out. Now you'll be able to remove the choke and the fuel lines, and it's ready to put in the new one, except for that mixture. So let me just take off these lines. Take off the carburetor, and we'll be ready to go. Just going to take off the fuel line. There'll be a bit of fuel in there, so expect some to go. There, as you see, there's the fuel line. Two-stroke. That's the two-stroke off. Now the vacuum comes in at the back here. That's the vacuum. And then just these. That's the accelerator. And the choke. There it is. Let's put on the bench and just put them side by side. Okay. So there they are, two of them side by side. As you can see, this side here is, they're more or less even in size. There's a few mil difference. I think the newer one is, there's 24.1 mil. This one's, I think, is a little bit bigger. There you go. So it's about 1.2 mil bigger. It'll still go into the original intake, so there's no problem there. I think the inside is identical, or close enough to identical. 18.5, 18.2. So it's a little bit smaller. Where it does make a difference is at this end. As you see, if you look inside, I know this one doesn't have the piston inside, but if you look inside, look how much bigger it is on the inside. And that's the measurement. It's in there, the actual measurement inside. Okay, so the only thing we're going to reuse from the old one here is this rubber. Now, the external diameter should be more or less the same. 38, this should be 38 as well. Yeah, 38.4, so it's a little bit bigger. So what I'll do is, because this is bigger and it's going into that intake, I'm just going to put a bit of 2-stroke oil on it and just wiggle it in a little bit. I've already taken this apart, I've had a look inside, so I know the float is not hanging up or anything else like that, so that's okay. And I suppose this will be a separate job, is to put the two lines on, so I'll take these off as well. I don't need any of those insides. So there you go, there's a spring. I'll take the piston out as well. So there you go, there's the other bit. Piston. One more. Stuck inside. There it is. Okay, so that's it. Okay, let's put that back on. Let's put that bit on the bike. Like I said, I'm gonna try and reuse some of this. Just because I want the original stock air filter to go on. I'll have a look what way I'll do that. I might have to get some sort of an O-ring or something to fit that. But I'll have a look in a minute. But I do want to reuse the old stock filter, a stock air filter, just purely for noise. I don't want this bike to look modified. As you can see, it's big difference inside. Look, see straight through there. Okay, let's pop this back on the bike then. Now, that's it. It's in all the way. Make sure it's nice and straight. Okay. Now, the fuel line. I'm actually going to have to reroute it a bit. As you can see, it's a bit short as well. So what I'll do is I'll take off this inner liner. I'll get to where the valve is, and I'll just adjust to make sure that it's long enough, and if it's not, I'm going to have to replace it with a new one. So that's one thing. The vacuum seems to be okay. I don't know if you can see that going on, but it's going on the back there. The vacuum one is actually okay. The fuel one needs a little adjustment, so I'll have a look for that. And then these two bad boys. And just make sure you tighten this up. Like I said, I took off all the fairings just to show you what I was talking about. So there's your vacuum valve, there's the vacuum, and this here is what I'm talking about. This here didn't fit. Now I took off the fender here that goes over the wheel. I will put it back in, but I just want to take it off just to show you what it looks like and what I was talking about. So that's it, that's the last connection there. Like I said, this here won't fit. If you're pre-mixing, that's not an issue, you can just block that off. But if you do want to use the mixture that's on the pump, well then you will have to run a new line, and that's why you have to take apart half the bike. But if you're pre-mixing, this is quite easy. You just take it off, put it on, put on the new accelerator cable onto the new piston, same with the choke, and then you're off, you're ready to go. So okay, so let me do these two bad boys. So this is easy. You just take this out. There's a little spring here, so it just has to go back. The little piston comes out, the spring comes out, this whole thing comes out. And this is why in my particular setup I had to get a 90-degree bend. I had to lose this slack in something. As you see, there's a massive slack here, and I had to lose it into something. So okay, let me get the new one and let's have a look what it looks like. Okay, So here's the new one. Just pushes through. Now there is an adjustment here, as you see, behind the rubber, so I'll just push it down over it. Right, I still have the old rubber there, I might take that off. So this is part of the old carburetor, as you see. I'll take that off it. This stops any water getting in on the actual cable itself and rust the cable. Okay, so that's it. So first we put the new one on. So just put it on all the way. Then you have the new 90-degree bend. Hopefully it's the right size. If not, I can try and borrow the one from the other. Let me just, as you see, even adjustment here as well. Let's see if we can fish it through. You can use a little bit of oil if you want. Oh, there's a nice big adjustment on this one. Okay, let's spray something in there. So it got stuck somewhere inside, so there we go. Now, that's nice. There's your adjustment. Now let's screw it back in. Now there it is. So this goes on it next. Now you see it's getting much shorter. So next we put on the new spring that goes in a good bit and the new piston. So you compress the spring ever so slightly, push the piston in, and that's it. Now it just goes straight in there and you just screw that back on. So that's one side done. Screw it back on. This one is a bit trickier. Let's take this off.